The Bold and the Beautiful B&B recap for Sunday, February 14th, reveals that Deke Sharp wound up on a deliverance charge while Steffy Forrester Finnegan had some special party players. At Il Giardino, Deke snapped Deacon Sharp out of his studies about Taylor Hayes and assumed his pater's worried marriage was on his mind. After Deacon suggested about stopping Remedy with Taylor, he was uncertain of when he's get to see her again. Deke was easily still lodging for Taylor and Deacon despite the complications. Once Deke took the trash to the alley, he caught Melissa Dillon since she'd been dumpster diving for further pizza to eat. Deke realized Dillon was empty and living in her auto, so he claimed he was going to help her after they changed prelusions. In the Forrester exchange, Electra Forrester mentioned commodity about a ballerina jewelry setting. Will recalled Dillon's living room performance at the Sandhouse before asking Electra if Dillon had been in touch. Electra admitted Dillon hadn't returned her calls, but she assumed effects were going well. Will and Electra participated some lovey-dovey moments, but Will sounded reflective about Dillon and intimately hoped she was happy wherever she was. At the Precipice House on Tuesday's B&B occasion, Steffy and Taylor made sure all the food and decorations were set up for Daphne Rose's matrimonial shower. Steffy took a moment to quiz Taylor about Deacon, and was relieved when Taylor claimed effects were over between them. Donna Logan was there for the party along with Daphne, who was obviously the guest of honor and wore a bridegroom-to-be girdle. After Daphne credited Steffy with making her love with Carter possible, she asked Steffy to be her maid of honor. Steffy accepted the part and treated everyone to a surprise since the handsome waiters were also hop. That led to some disco moves and plenitude of dancing around the Precipice House. At one point, Daphne raised eyebrows by enjoying foamy cider rather of an alcoholic libation. That brought questions about whether Daphne was pregnant, so she admitted she was hopeful about starting a family with Carter right down. At Forrester Creations, Carter asked Rich Forrester to be his stylish man and mentioned wanting to have his marriage in the exchange. Ridge was on board with all that as he participated pizza and beer with Carter at the office. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Daphne and Ridge's future will come with some curveballs, so we'll bring you updates on any disquieting news to come. On February 14th, The Bold and the Beautiful was really interesting. The people in Los Angeles were feeling a lot of emotions. These feelings were coming out in ways some were small and some were big. This is what makes The Bold and the Beautiful so good. It shows the personal things and the big romantic things. At Il Giardino it was quiet with people talking and glasses clinking. Then something serious happened between Deacon Sharp and his son Deke. It was a moment between a father and his son, Deacon Sharp and Deke. Deacon is a person who's usually full of energy and life, but he seemed really distracted. It was like his mind was else. Deke is a guy and he cares about his father, so he noticed that something was wrong. He could tell that Deacon was thinking about Taylor Hayes and the problems they had. They had a breakup and it still hurts Deacon. He tried to act like it was no deal, but you could tell it was bothering him. Deacon said that he and Taylor stopped going to therapy. He was not sure if talking about their problems again would make things better or worse. Deacon and Taylor have a lot of issues. He does not know what to do about them. The thought that he might not see her again was really bothering him. Deke did not want to think that it was over, so he tried to make his father feel a little better. He told him that people in their world who loved each other in ways often got another chance. But Deacon was not just being stubborn. He was also scared. He was scared that she would say no to him again, scared that he was not good enough for her, and scared that this time she really meant it when she said goodbye to Deke and his father Deacon. Deke was feeling a pain when he went outside to throw away the trash. This was something he did every day. It became something more because of what he saw in the alley behind the restaurant. It was not very bright there. That is when he saw a young woman going through the trash. Melissa Dillon. She was hungry. Things were not going well for her. You could tell she was proud even when things were really tough. She tried to make a joke when Deke showed he cared. You could not miss the truth. The truth was that Melissa Dillon was really struggling. Deke saw Melissa Dillon. It was clear that she needed help. She was living in her car. It was really tough for her to get by. Her life had fallen apart. She was having a hard time putting it back together. Deke's instincts kicked in a way. He did not look down on her, feel sorry for her. Instead, Deke was kind to her, which is something that Dillon had not seen much of lately. First they were a little shy with each other. As they talked, Dillon started to feel better and less embarrassed. This was because Deke was being so nice. He said he would help her. This moment was important not just because Deke was being generous, because it was the start of a friendship between Deke and Dylan, a connection that neither Deke nor Dylan fully understood yet. Deke and Dylan were just starting to get to know each other. In a city where people have a lot of money and like to show off, it can be really lonely. This simple rescue mission made it seem like there would be emotional problems to deal with later on. The city is full of wealth and glamour. This rescue mission hinted at deeper emotional stakes ahead for the people in the city. At Forrester Creations, something else was going on. Electra Forrester was talking about a jewelry design in the showroom. It was inspired by ballerinas. She was really excited about it. You could hear the excitement in her voice. She loved coming up with ideas. Will was listening to her. He always tried to be supportive. His mind started to wander. He was thinking about Dylan. He remembered the time she danced at the beach house. She was in the living room. It was not a planned performance or anything. She just danced because she wanted to. Dylan did not dance for people to clap for her. She danced because it made her feel better. Will asked Electra if she had heard from Dylan. He was not just asking because he was curious. He really wanted to know if Dylan had been in touch with Electra Forrester. It was about feelings that were still not dealt with. Electra said she had not heard from Dylan and thought everything was okay. Will was not saying anything, and that said a lot. Even though Will had moments with Electra, they would laugh together and he would touch her gently. The way he looked said he was still thinking about something. He wanted Dylan to be happy no matter where she was. Wanting that for her made him feel a little sad inside. The thing with Electra and Dylan and Will was still going on. It was not a problem yet, but you could tell it was there. At the Cliff House, everyone was really happy and excited. Steffy, Forrester, Finnegan, and Taylor Hayes were getting everything for Daphne Rose's bridal shower. They wanted to make sure everything was perfect and beautiful. The view of the ocean was amazing, with the waves crashing against the shore in a rhythm like they were cheering for the special day. Steffy, Forrester, Finnegan took a minute to ask Taylor Hayes about Deacon. She felt a lot better when Taylor Hayes told her that she and Deacon were done for good. Steffy, Forrester, Finnegan was happy to hear that Taylor Hayes was moving on from Deacon. Steffy really looked out for her mother. She wanted her mother to have a life, not all the trouble that Deacon usually caused. Then Donna Logan showed up to the party. She was really nice, which was a good balance to Steffy being so bossy. Daphne was wearing a bride-to-be sash. She looked really happy but also a little nervous. When Daphne said that Steffy helped her and Carter get together, and asked Steffy to be her maid of honor, it made their friendship even stronger. Steffy and Daphne's friendship was really special. Steffy was happy to be a part of Daphne's wedding. Steffy said yes with a lot of excitement. This made the party more fun. She had a surprise for everyone. The people serving food were also dancers. Everyone started laughing when the music changed to disco. The room was filled with happy people dancing. Even Taylor, who usually does not show her feelings, started moving to the music. The party was no longer a serious event. It was now a fun and silly party. Steffy and the dancers and the music all made the party a happy place. Steffy and the people at the party were all having a time. So there was a party with a lot of excitement and people moving around. One small thing that Daphne did caught people's attention. Daphne chose to drink cider instead of champagne. This was noticed by everyone because nothing goes unnoticed in this world. When people asked her about it, Daphne said that she and Carter want to have a baby away. She seemed very hopeful about it. It seemed like maybe she was already pregnant. Nobody knew for sure. The idea that Daphne might be pregnant was exciting for some people, because it meant something new and good might be happening. For people, it made them worry that things might get complicated. Daphne and pregnancy were on everyone's mind. People were waiting to see what would happen with Daphne and Carter. In this world, happiness and big changes often go together. Happiness and big problems can happen at the time. This universe is a place where joy and trouble can be connected. Carter Walton went to Forrester Creations to talk to his friend. He had pizza and beer with Rich Forrester in the office. Carter Walton asked Rich Forrester to be his man at the wedding. This was a moment. It was different from the weddings that Carter Walton and Rich Forrester usually went to. Carter Walton wanted to have the wedding in the showroom at Forrester Creations. He liked the showroom because it was a place where people made things. Rich Forrester was happy to say yes to Carter Walton. Rich Forrester and Carter Walton were good friends. They had known each other for a time and had been through a lot together. Carter Walton and Rich Forrester had times and bad times. So they were happy, raising their glasses to the future, but there were some small signs that things might not go as planned. The Bold and the Beautiful is a show that always has surprises, and there were rumors that Daphne and Ridge might have some problems, which meant that the happy times might not last long. The show is really good at throwing in twists, and it seemed like Daphne and Ridge were in for some tough times, which would change the happy mood to a really bad situation. The episode did a job of mixing hope and uncertainty. Deke showed a lot of kindness to Dylan. This could lead to a really interesting story about people changing and connecting with each other. Will still has feelings that he has not dealt with. This will probably cause some problems. Daphne is happy about getting married. She might even have a baby, but this could also make things complicated with her friends. Deke's feelings for Taylor show that the heart does not always make sense. Each person in the show is at a point where they have to make a choice. These choices will affect everything that happens next. The episode made me think about what will happen to Deke and Dylan, and how their story will turn out. Daphne's wedding and possible motherhood are also things that will change the show. As the credits rolled, viewers were left with a tapestry of anticipation. Would Deacon find the courage to fight for Taylor again? Could Dylan's rescue spark a romance, or reopen old wounds? Might Daphne's hopeful family plans reshape Carter's path? In true Bold and the Beautiful fashion, the answers promise to intertwine passion, betrayal, loyalty, and reinvention. Love remains the driving force, but in this world, love is never simple. The feelings from Valentine's Day were still affecting people in Los Angeles. The show The Bold and the Beautiful was showing its mix of fancy lives and personal problems. Each character in The Bold and the Beautiful was dealing with their issues. These problems were becoming so big that you could not look away from The Bold and the Beautiful. At Il Giardino, Deacon Sharp stayed for a time after the people who were eating dinner had left. This restaurant is a place where Deacon Sharp usually feels safe and can focus on his work. Now it feels like Deacon Sharp is on a stage and his thoughts are too loud. Every table at Il Giardino makes Deacon Sharp think of Taylor Hayes. He remembers the way Taylor Hayes smiled at him, the way Taylor Hayes told him things that were not easy to say, and the way they both hoped they could change what happened in the past. Deacon Sharp told himself that he stopped going to therapy because it was an idea. The real reason is not so simple. Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes, they are still on his mind. Therapy made him face the things he did wrong and the ways he always acted. He saw that he often hurt himself on purpose, got very defensive, and always thought people would leave him before they actually did. Therapy showed him these patterns, like the way he expected people to abandon him even before it happened. He had to look at his self-sabotage and defensiveness. The way he always expected abandonment. Deke looked at his father from across the room. He knew his father was not just distracted, he was really hurt. For a time Deke had seen his father try to get people to respect him, try to make things right, and try to find love. This time it felt different. His father was wondering if he had used up all his chances. When Deke said maybe his father should not stop going to therapy, his father's face got tight. "You cannot fix something that does not want to be fixed," his father said quietly. But Deke could see that his father was not just giving up, he was also hoping for something. Deke's father, Deacon, was still holding on to some hope. Outside, Dylan sat in her car, which was parked a block away. She was staring at the dashboard, hoping it would help her figure some things out. Deke had been really kind to her. It had thrown her off. Dylan was not used to people being nice to her without wanting something in return. She used to think about what her life would be like. She would dance and people would clap for her. She even thought she would have a steady job as a dancer. But then she got hurt and had some money problems, so all of that fell apart. Her pride would not let her call any of her friends. The feeling of shame kept her alone. That is why Dylan was sitting in her car feeling stuck. Deke's kindness and the life she once wanted as a dancer were still on her mind. Deke's offer to help her was still on her mind. It was like something that could save her. She did not know if she should take it. Deke's offer of help was really sticking with her. She was not sure she deserved it. The morning Deke went back to the alley at the same time, hoping the girl would be there. When the girl appeared, she was being careful. She was there. Deke did not try to force her to do anything. He gave her a container of food and said, "No strings." These two words made the girl look a little happier. The girl and Deke had a conversation. They talked about chances. They talked about how fast things can go. The girl and Deke talked about how sometimes just getting by can feel like giving up even when it's not. Dylan had not felt like himself for a time. For the time in weeks Dylan felt like a real person, not like he was invisible to everyone around him. Dylan was finally starting to feel like Dylan, and it was a really great feeling. Across town at Forrester Creations, Will found himself looking at a design sketch that suddenly became fuzzy in his mind. He thought about the time Dylan danced at the beach house. It was such a thing to do. Will remembered how vulnerable Dylan was when he danced like that. Electra saw that Will was not paying attention. She thought he was worried about the work they had to do soon. So she put her arms around him, told him that Forrester Creations was going to be fine. She said that their future at Forrester Creations was going to be great. Will wanted to think that Electra was right about Forrester Creations. He really cared about Electra. She was ambitious, loyal, and present in a way that Dylan had never been able to be. Love is not always about things being perfect and stable. Sometimes love is about the feelings that are still not figured out. Love is about these emotions. When Will found out that people had not seen Dylan around town, he started to feel really bad. He thought to himself that Dylan was okay, that she could take care of herself. He still felt guilty. Will wondered if he had left Dylan fast. He thought about if he had assumed that Dylan would always be fine, that she would always get back on her feet. Dylan was a person, but Will was worried about Dylan. He kept thinking about Dylan. What might have happened to Dylan? The party at the Cliff House was all anyone in the Forrester circle could talk about. Daphne Rose was really enjoying all the attention. You could tell she was a little nervous when she laughed. She told Donna something in private that made her really anxious. Daphne Rose had taken a test to see if she was going to have a baby. Said she might be. Her hands were shaking when she told Donna about the test. It was too early to know for sure if she was really going to have a baby. It was not a time to tell everyone yet. Just thinking about it was already changing everything for Daphne Rose. The fact that Daphne Rose might be having a baby was a deal. Donna's eyes got all teary. She said softly, "Having a baby changes what is important to you." The truth really weighed on me. It was a truth. Carter was really excited about the wedding. He did not know that Daphne had a secret. Carter talked to Rich. That made him feel very good. Rich thought Carter was a guy and a good friend. When Rich asked Carter to be the man at the wedding, Carter felt happy. This meant that Rich and his family really liked him. Carter wanted the marriage between him and Daphne to be happy and strong. He wanted the marriage to be based on trust and have no problems. Carter wanted this marriage to be solid, with no complications and built on trust. The marriage would be good. Carter really wanted the marriage to be good. Ridge is really good at noticing things. He saw that Daphne was tense. She seemed to be in a hurry. Daphne wanted to do things away. She kept talking about how important it was to get things done on time. This made Ridge think that there was something Daphne was not saying about Daphne's situation with Daphne's timelines. Back at the Cliff House, Steffy and Taylor had a moment together after all the guests left. Taylor told Steffy that she had said she was done with Deacon. The truth is, it was not that simple. Taylor said she was still dealing with her feelings. She said that when you love someone, you cannot just stop loving them away. Taylor said that loving someone does not just turn off like that. Steffy felt the need to protect the people she cares about. She said, "But when you love someone who causes problems in your life, that is a different story." Taylor did not say anything back. She knew what her daughter was talking about. She understood why her daughter was worried. Taylor also thought to herself that maybe she had given up on things too quickly because she was scared, not because she and the other person were not meant to be together. Taylor thought about her daughter. She thought about herself. She wondered if she had made a mistake by leaving, if she had left for the wrong reasons, if she had left because she was afraid of what might happen with Taylor and the other person. That evening, Deacon showed up at Taylor's door. He did not come to ask for something. He did not come to fight. He just came to say sorry to Taylor. Deacon was sorry for stopping his therapy sessions without talking to Taylor about it. He was sorry for letting his own fears make decisions for him. The way Deacon sounded really surprised Taylor. His voice was very honest and open. He said that he did not stop doing something because he did not care about it. He stopped doing it because he was scared that computer science was not what he was good at. He was scared that math was not what he was good at. He was scared that science was not what he was good at. He was scared that he was not enough at the things he was doing. The honesty really broke down the wall between them. They did not make up away. The honesty just started to make things better. They decided to do something more grown up. They started talking to each other. They had conversations, they thought about what they were saying, and they were truthful with each other. The conversation was slow and deliberate and transparent. They were having a conversation about the things that mattered to them, like their feelings and what they wanted from each other. Dylan finally said,